SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Can be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
The bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
40-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
He went bogey, double, par, birdie, bogey. Thomas Dietrich's all over the place here today.
This golf course is so volatile where it can make you look like a fool in just a matter of minutes. And, you look at a guy like Thomas Dietrich. He's right there tied for the lead or whatever it was, and now he's like 4 or 5 over in the wink of an eye.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
Despite me being a Yankee fan, I think Joe would deserve the label as Aaron Judge's biggest fan, not through any bias, but just through the amount of money that he's made anybody who's been betting on him.
I just had him for that home run, and I'm going to go back to it today. That home run coming in at plus 230. Max Fried here, while he has been strong. This is Aaron Judge.
Game time decisions, only on
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bustler, and everybody else in between. The Twisted Tuesday has begun, and we're jam-packed tonight. We're locked and loaded all night long. We've got a lot of stuff to get to. We've got Copa. We've got the Euros, CFL, Major League Baseball. Of course, the Stanley Cup was won last night. The NBA draft is rapidly approaching. An NBA draft that nobody knows about any of the players for the most part. And an NBA draft that people really don't even know that it is tomorrow. But we've got some deals going down in the association. Literally and figuratively, moments ago, we've got a Woj bomb here as the Nets have traded Bridges to the Knicks for Bogdanovich, 4 unprotected first-round picks. That's right, 4 unprotected first-round picks, a protected first-round pick via the Bucks, and an unprotected pick swap, and a second rounder. That's a lot of picks. That's a lot of verbiage and a lot of legalese right there. But clearly, the New York Knicks are in a win now mode, and they get a player that scores basically 20 points a game. You have to wonder about the future of the Knicks roster and what this means for OG Anunoby, that, of course, is one of the hottest players on the market, if not the hottest player. Like, who is really on the market? Paul George? Like, really? People are going to get excited about Paul. We're going to do this again? Like, ooh, Paul George? It's funny, though. Paul George was connected to the Knicks, so that shuts that down, we'll say right now. So this just happened moments ago. Argentina and Chile are going on as we speak. Right now. We're at the half. They played 45 minutes at MetLife, and there's like 78,000 people there. And it's pretty much a prelude to what the World Cup final is going to be, as the World Cup final in 2026 is actually at MetLife Stadium. I don't know how they picked MetLife Stadium, to be honest. It was like SoFi was in the mix in L.A., Cowboy Stadium, Jerry's World. I get it. They went with the, I think they thought it was in New York, like basically. And, well, it's not that far from New York, but it might as well be, right? It might as well be. Like how many, I think, what's MetLife from Manhattan? is it 8 miles? Is it 13 miles? 8 miles? It's like it's 8 or 13, whatever. It's not far. Technically, it really isn't far, but it is, right? Like it could take you a while in that Lincoln Tunnel, like getting through, right? There's things that can happen along the way trying to get there that turn it into a production. Not to mention, and I say this pretty confidently, actually, and I've lived in a lot of places, like, every major city I've lived in, and New Jersey Transit by far is the worst. Like, it's going to be a disaster. Like, I don't know. The FIFA committee were clearly blinded by whatever the New York committee hooked them up with. But there's a lot of things that I don't think they thought about putting this at MetLife. We'll see how it goes tonight, actually, if there's horror stories of people trying to get out of there. They had WrestleMania at MetLife Stadium, and the New Jersey Transit system didn't even add, extra trains. They made it like a regular Sunday night. There's like 80,000 people stuck in a parking lot. It was like an epic sort of meltdown. The state troopers were yelling, flipping out, yelling, they could be seen on their walkie-talkies, yelling at the New Jersey Transit. What are you guys, a bunch of morons? We're gonna have a riot here. You left 40,000 people in a parking lot. So we got a lot of people in a parking lot at MetLife tonight. Scoreless though, no goals. Chile are giving them all that they can handle. Argentina started to dial it up a notch a little bit near the end of the first half. They had a couple of chances, but for the most part, it's not much has happened in this game. We clicked the under in game. I sort of saw, all right, this game's going nowhere fast. So we jumped in on the in-game under. But as far as a lot of these bets that we've had with soccer, I'm going pretty crazy. I've had 12 bets on a game, 10 bets, these Euro games, some of these Copa games we're getting pretty into from a betting perspective, ton of in-game bets. But looking here, I have it under 2.5. It was minus 200 when I took it because the number started to move fast. I have a same game parlay here, under 3.5 and Argentina to win the game. And I have another parlay I'm looking to close out here. Peru, Canada, under 2.5, which was a win, and Argentina plus half a goal. So in case it was a draw, I wasn't convinced that Argentina were going to roll these guys tonight. So we're looking to close that out. Oh, Canada, indeed. Canada finally wins a big soccer match. And it's been 24 years since they beat a team from South America. Big time win against Peru. Very physical match. Peru got away with a headbutt that should have been a red card earlier in the match. It's pretty clear. Listen, they're not going to respect the United States and Canada and stuff in the Copa. They're thinking you guys shouldn't even be in this tournament, right? And I can't help but think as well, Canada kept getting screwed over and over and over today. What are you going to do? You don't even speak Spanish. A bunch of dudes on Canada basically admitted, we don't even speak Spanish. So the referees are Spanish. You're playing against, South American countries. You're going to have to deal with their rules, even though it's in America. These games, it's their tournament, and they're letting you know it by the way that they're calling it. But Canada with a big time win. They get Chile next. The game's on Saturday night in Orlando, Florida. So we'll break all that down. Major League Baseball. No late games that are starting. There's we're kind of getting to the end of the night here on the diamond. Although there's a couple of games that have sort of started, but everything's already started. It's annoying. I don't know why they do it. They should think of the bettors and people like us, but I've never been a fan of that 9:40 start time, 6:40. 6:40 West Coast, whatever. Just start the damn game at 7 o'clock local time, right? So, all these West Coast games tonight all started at weird times, 6:20, 6:40 or whatnot. So we're at the bottom of the second inning now with the Cubs and the Giants. We're still scoreless there. Oh, this is the City Connect night for the Giants. They usually win. They lost the last time. I won't remember because I was on it, but they usually win these City Connect home games on Tuesday night. San Diego are up 2-0 on Washington right now. Bottom of the second, minus 300. Total is 7.5 here. D-backs up 4-0 already on the Twins. End of the second. In-game total's 9.5. Just gut feels a little light there, considering we've already got 4 runs in that game. The Athletics and the Angels, in-game total 6.5, top of third. We're still scoreless right now. Athletics are favored, minus 130 because they got a couple of runners on first and second. We've got the Dodgers are up 4-3 right now. This game is taking forever. We're in the bottom of the sixth inning there. And we got the Yankees in action. There's been a ton of runs in the Yankee game. 9-7 for the Mets. Bottom of the eighth inning right now. And the Yankees are like plus 500. For the record, the Dodgers are minus 280 right now. And we're in the bottom of the sixth. They're up by a run. So we're not going to be on tomorrow night. Here's a warning shot for everybody due to an NBA draft special here on the grid. So we got a lot of picks for you tonight. And our boy Babano steps up and normally joins us on Wednesdays. So Babano's going to join us. We're going to get to the CFL. We got Andrew McKinnis in the house, the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart, our boy Rick Saratella, Griffin Murphy. As I stated, we're jam-packed tonight. So we'll run the gauntlet, and we're going to hit everything that's going on in the sports betting world. The NBA draft coming up. And although, whatever, the NBA draft is full of a bunch of dudes that you've never heard of, you've never seen play before, there are a couple of spots that I'm seeing as far as draft prop bets are concerned. So we'll drop a couple of draft bets tonight. J.J. Redick off and running in L.A., and there's already controversy, and we'll get you caught to date with that. A lot of stuff to break down on a Twisted Tuesday. This is Sports Rage. Bring it.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. The second half has begun at MetLife Stadium, and that's a handball. That's that should have been a handball right now. You know, I tell you, it's very fascinating to watch the differences between the Euros and the Copa, and the Euro is very sort of like official, like it's very NFL like. They're like, don't worry, we're going to check it out. Everything is like under review all the time. It's like overkill. And they're like, oh, look, your left cleat, like, spike was a little bit offside here. Your hair was blowing offside. People wanted perfection in VAR. That's why be careful for all you baseball robot nerds out there. Suddenly you're going to be like, oh, like you're not going to like it when it's like a computer box that tells you it's a strike or not. But I noticed in the Copa, they basically, it's very South American style. They're like, screw you. The ref will just be like, no, I'm not looking at it. I don't care. And they go on. And it's very, there's a different like attitude about it. Anyone who watched a Canada game today saw. They freaking headbutted Buddy on Canada, and they wouldn't even review it after. It's like, dude, you think he headbutted himself? Right? They wouldn't review it. They knew they screwed up at the half, clearly, because then right away they were like, oh, yeah, you're gone, as soon as there was an aggressive foul after. But the Copa style is different than the Euro, and it's tricky because we're betting soccer all day, but soccer isn't soccer. Different leagues are different. Different cultures play soccer differently. And you've got to know this when you're handicapping these games. And a good example is I think a lot of people think, oh, Copa, it's high scoring and flash and stuff. No, it's been a hell of a lot of unders. It's hard to score. You know, I think one of the reasons why you get away with murder in this stuff, you can tackle people and trip them and like headbutt them and they don't care. Right? In Europe, it's like, hey, that's okay. You know what I mean? They'll call it. But let's bring in Andrew McKinnis right now. We got Cam Stewart in the house. McKinnis, good to see you, Cam. Good to see you. How you doing, Andrew, tonight?
Good to see you guys. What a win for Canada tonight. And like you said, if that wasn't a red card the first time, it sure better have been the second time. And the fact that it had to be a review is kind of a pain to even see how long that review took. But Gabe, really good point by you about how different the types of football that they play. I had a few friends that actually played professionally that said that to me as well. Pretty much talking about the fact that it's more open, the speed different. I mean, I've noticed that you can't bet over on corners as much in the Copa. It's more technical, it seems like, in Euro, and it seems like it's more of a free-for-all out there in the Copa. So it's a real good point by you. And when you got someone going from betting one game in one league, in one tournament to the next one about 2 hours later, it's a whole different brand of football.
It's a good point as far as corners. I'm a big corner prop guy, and a great call. These Copa games, look how many corners are going on in this game. There's no corners. The European teams are bigger. You got big dudes and stuff. They're big, they're tall, they're thick. They love those crosses into the box and the corner kicks and the headers, you'll notice, right? These guys are smaller. The South American guys aren't as tall. They're more flash at midfield. They're sort of passing it around. They like to kill the clock off. They're also big on their drama as well, right? So... like you'll notice, like every time today, the ball would be a dead ball. The guys on Peru would sort of like roll the ball away from the guy on Canada. Yeah. It's like, so the guy in Canada would have to sort of go like six yards to go get it, bring it back. It would like kill like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You know, they're like a street team or something. It's fun to watch, like the different cultures. And you guys saw in the first half, Canada was getting run over by them. Like these Peruvian dudes were like just playing like prison style soccer. In the second half, Canada started fighting back a little bit, and you know it started to equal out. But it's dramatic stuff. But let me ask you, McKinnis, the first time since we've seen you, Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup last night. Your thoughts on the Panthers' victory in Game 7?
I mean, my thoughts overall, the first thing that comes to my mind when you ask me that, Gabe, when you throw it to me, is the fact that sometimes it takes a team losing once to have to come back and win. I mean, you see it happen to everybody, at least maybe not go to the conference or go to the Stanley Cup, but sometimes go to the conference finals, get knocked out in the second round, third round. You have to kind of go through it. And it seems like right now for the Oilers, they won a first round, they won a second round, they won a conference final, and here they are losing in the Stanley Cup. So some teams just have to go through it completely. I looked at that game yesterday, and I know it might sound dramatic to say this, but I really thought whoever scored the first goal would win that game. And Florida won in a perfect Florida fashion, 2-1. You know, if you would have told me, hey, Andrew, tomorrow or yesterday's game finished 2-1, I would have told you, I'm going to bet everything I have, sell my car, sell my house. The Florida Panthers won that game, because that's the style that they're going to play. If you told me the game finished 5-2, I would have said, congratulations to the Edmonton Oilers. So they played a perfect game. They protected their lead when they had it. Great defensive hockey. And you know what, guys? when you bury yourself in a 3-0 hole like that, it's hard to win 4 straight games in the regular season, let alone the Stanley Cup Finals. So congratulations to the Panthers. But I'll tell you what, I got to get one last jab in here. I saw players walking around with the Stanley Cup. You couldn't walk around in a small town in Canada with the Stanley Cup without getting absolutely run over by fans. But I guess in Florida, you can walk around and nobody even cares who you are.
People don't know what the Stanley Cup is in Florida. You know what they think it is? They think it's that stupid coffee cup that people like. Like that's the Stanley Cup, the water bottle, like the metal cups. That I don't know how they call that Stanley Cups either. It's like it's copyright infringement. If I was the NHL, I'd be like, you can't call your stupid cup Stanley Cups. But I guess they are. They're made by Stanley in their cups. So what are you going to do? I think. But we'll show some of the wild celebrations on the streets of Florida after they won the Stanley Cup.
Taking it to the beach.
There's more activity like outside of Denny's with old people missing the early birds. Like seriously, than the Stanley Cup. The guys on the Panthers were sort of like, "Hey, look, we had the cup," and they were like, "Hey, look." People were driving by, look at them, like, "Yeah, okay." A couple of people honked. They were probably just like, "Yeah, whatever. Who are these two dudes?" You know what I mean? Honk, honk. Hey, what's up? Like,
what a fishing
They're saying, "Get out of my way! Get out of my way!" That's why they were honking. They were saying, "Get out of the road."
There's some girl drove by, probably thought these guys are cute. Hey, look at them! Like, you know what I mean? Honk, honk. These guys, like, they're all drunk on the sidewalk, but no one cares, like you said. Like even I remember Giannis won. Remember in Milwaukee, his car got swarmed on a street light, like.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11-12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency, the pits, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Quick check as far as the baseball card is concerned. It's still scoreless right now at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. We're into the 60th minute. Argentina are starting to press a bit. And oh, my God, as I said that, they just ripped one off the crossbar. Like, they're starting to get mad now, Argentina. You can tell the frustration is kicking in, and they're starting to press a lot more. But it's still scoreless right now with 30 minutes left. And speaking of pressing and not scoring, England continues to disappoint, although they won their group. So it's like a unique situation where they won their group, but they didn't look very good. But so what? You won your group. Your group sucked. So good for you. You won the group only because the group sucked so much. But nevertheless, as far as baseball is concerned right now, the Dodgers are still up 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th. The Astros are up 5-1 on the Rockies right now, bottom of the 8th. It's bottom of the 9th right now. That's it. I guess this is the game. Oh no, we're going to the bottom of the 9th here with the Marlins and the Royals. It's 2-1 there. As far as there's one out actually in the 9th. You could get the Royals at plus 850 right now, down 1 run, but they only have 2 outs left. That's a little like blackjack roulette type baseball betting right there. You're betting on 2 at bats. The Athletics are up 2-0 on the Angels, bottom of the 3rd. So this game is still going on. Total 7.5 right now in game. The Halos are plus 210. Athletics are minus 270. Still 4-0 in the Desert. Ooh, the Nationals have come back and put a 4 spot up on San Diego. Suddenly, San Diego is plus 225. Total is 11.5. And the Giants in the City Connect have taken a 2-0 lead. McKinnis, any late night baseball for you tonight?
I have 2 plays right now. I've got under 5.5 strikeouts for Tyler Anderson for the Angels. I love taking these strikeout props to the under for pitchers when they play teams like the Mariners, the Athletics, the White Sox, some of these teams that strike out a ton, because I think everybody, whenever someone thinks anything's too easy, it's not. And so I like playing contrarian. Oh, you're a pitcher and you're playing the A's, doesn't mean you're going to go over your strikeout prop. You might have a great night. Doesn't mean you're going to rack up all the Ks. And this is a guy that doesn't strike out a ton of batters. Only twice out of his last 8 starts, you get that. So I like that one. I grabbed the Dodgers money line at a pretty reasonable price when they went down early on. So I do like that one. I'm kind of considering looking at the live under in that game. For some reason, I feel like that game might just calm down and see the Dodgers win it pretty comfortable the way they are right now.
Well, we're running out of real estate. There's only end of 7 right now. So we're going to the top of the 8th inning. In-game total is currently 9.5. Under minus 160 in the Dodger game. Dodgers up 4-3, minus 450 on the money line, plus 320. Any baseball for you, Cam?
No, I didn't bet any. I took the Jays over tonight, which actually finally hit because they got runs, and the pitching, it's still not great, but they actually hit tonight. Guerrero, since he got rid of the dreads, they actually win, Gabe, and I know we ripped that team last night, but the offense is showing up the last couple of nights if they could shore up the pitching. I might take a shot with Kansas City here in the 9th. I'm getting plus 340. I feel like rolling the dice, Morency, because that's the type of guy I am. Just roll those, like spin the wheel, baby.
I like that,
Let's
Cam.
go.
I like that.
Go Royals.
64th minute right now. Chile and Argentina still scoreless. So the in-game total right now, where are we at here? We at 0.5. So now they're down to will there be a goal? Plus 130 is the under. Will there be a goal? Yes, is minus 163. Under 1.5 is minus 400. You got to believe, man, that Argentina is going to break through here eventually and find the back of the net. But we saw this with Peru today. They're not easy to break down, these teams, man. And Chile and Peru just played a scoreless draw in their opener in the Copa. But we'll get back to the soccer after, because I want to get to the Stanley Cup. The celebration continues, as McKinnis brought up earlier. Let's go to the best of X here. So here's the wild celebration today on the streets of Fort Lauderdale after the big Game 7 win last night. Wild stuff. I like there's people waiting. I like there's people waiting across the street, not even saying anything next to them. They're like, what are these guys doing? Like,
great atmosphere.
Oh man.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Still scoreless here. We're in the 68th minute. As far I want to get into some CFL, and we will. We promise we'll go over all the games. But as far as the NHL is concerned, as I stated, you got a little bit of a trend here in the NHL. It's a real problem. 4 of the last 5 champions in the NHL are from tax-free states. All right? And the other team, the 5th team that didn't win, is the Dallas Stars, who is a tax-free state. There's a pattern here, and you could say, okay, well, what about the other leagues? Whatever. The NFL is more equal to the NHL. Every team is more equalized in a way with the way their system works. But the thing is, you make more money. Like, so if you're like in the NBA, if you're Kevin Durant, whatever. Yeah, it sucks paying some taxes sometimes, guys. But what do you care? You literally have $800 million, right? You're making $350 million on a shoe deal. It's like, all right, I got to give up a little bit of this and that. If you're an NHL player, you don't make that much money. Even the best players are only making in between $8-12 million a year in the NHL. Dude, suddenly that 45% is massive. Like, or 28%. Yeah. You're like, holy crap, that's big. This is my life savings, as opposed to Kevin Durant saying, it sucked those 2 years in Cali, but you know what I mean? There's a big
and the
difference.
Weather, Gabe.
Yeah, then you get into the weather, but you get into the training facilities too, and just sort of the, like Vegas. They're an expansion team, but everybody wants to play for them, right? If you want to party and you're in Vegas, you want to play for Vegas, it's a great party town. Even if you're a chill dude, you want to play in Vegas, you have great weather, you can play golf all the time, nobody bothers you, nobody knows who the hell you are. There's no real pressure from the media. There's pressure from the organization, but not from the media. You know what I mean? You got rock stars and celebrities hanging around. And, like, remember when they went to the Cup, they were all driving Vince Neil from Motley Crue's cars he hooked them up with. And, like, what do you get if you play for the Toronto Maple Leafs? Bad weather, you're Mitch Marner, you get carjacked at the Mississauga Mall when you go to a movie. Like, you know what I mean? Literally, you got carjacked the day after the playoffs. Like, what's the perks? Like, you see the Florida Panthers training facility, it's like a golf and country club. There's basketball courts, pools, tennis courts, pickleball, scale hockey rink. These guys are lounging around playing golf all day. What do you get if you play for the Detroit Red Wings? Like, seriously. Or the New
do you
Jersey
hear about the
Devils. You
Winnipeg
get
Jets?
snowballs thrown at you, like you get robbed in the parking lot, and you play for the Devils. Hey, it's fun here in Hoboken to watch out leaving the arena, guys. Hey, you might get robbed in the parking lot. Keep your head up. It's like it's not fun. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, the Winnipeg Jets prospect. You guys hear about him? The Winnipeg Jets prospect, team captain of the U.S. National Development Program, Rutger McRoarty, has not played one single game for the Winnipeg Jets yet, and he's threatening to not sign his entry-level contract. Part of the reason was he was mad they didn't let him play after he finished college last year, and they didn't want to let him slot into the team. But you're talking about location and tax-free. Well, Winnipeg is one of those places. Hey, Paul Maurice left the team, okay? Players, coaches, people do not want to go to Winnipeg. And you got a prospect that got drafted.
They're lucky they're as good as they are.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my opinion, I think that you should have to play out your entry-level contract, and then you can be a prima donna. You have to play your entry-level, in my opinion.
Look at Kachuk. He was in Calgary. They didn't suck. They didn't make the playoffs. He's like, I got to go. Like, you know what I mean? It's cold as hell here. You all bitch all the time when we lose. You hate me all the time. I'm going to go to Florida. And look, they love him. Right?
The
Even
Calgary
before he won, they
Flames,
loved
Gabe.
him. It's just different, right? It's just
on that team. A million of them. They all went to the Florida Panthers. Like, they have tons of guys that played for Calgary, not just a couple. Like, it's crazy.
If you'll notice, though, Vancouver is one place, though, that they do like. Players, like, they're not happy with some of the Twitter stuff, but I think one of the reasons is Vancouver has the nicest weather in Canada. So there's not a bad, like, not as much of a negative you know what I mean, sort of negativity around them. But let's just do a quick check for next year, because you said, McKinsey, you got to learn how to lose and all that. The Oilers are actually the favorites to win a cup next year. So they open up as the early favorites. They are 7-1 right now. They were actually last night. There's been some line movement actually. They were 9-1 last night. So you got the Oilers, the Stars, the Hurricanes, the Panthers, the Avalanche, the Devils. Devils got a goalie. Rangers, Maple Leafs, Canucks, Vegas Golden Knights. Who's your early front runner now, McInnes, to win the Stanley Cup next year?
Gabe, I've been saying this for quite some time now, and I kind of think this is the last shot. I've actually heard rumors of Jake Gensel and a few other guys going to this team, so I'm going to throw this team out one last time at 22-1. Los Angeles Kings. Los Angeles Kings.
God, the
They're
Kings.
not getting any younger. They're not getting any younger. I mean, at this
old, man.
Exactly.
I got to give up on him. But let him give his picks. Sorry,
I'm sorry,
we'll shut up.
you're
Sorry,
right.
go
Yeah,
on.
I love the Kings.
No, well,
Yep.
look, I just think, look around at the teams. You're talking about Reinhart and Kachuk, and I understand, but look at a lot of these teams. It's not young teams that are winning it, guys. The Stanley Cup is not being lifted over these teams where guys are in their mid to early 20s.
That's
of the
a great
vets
point.
are the
Look at the
teams
Panthers,
that are winning the
Reinhart, Bennett, all these guys, Montour, guys been around the league forever. You're right.
That's
Ekblad. Ekblad went through hell and back with the Florida Panthers, guys. He was drafted there. They had some losing years. He went through it all. I was shocked that he didn't get the cup second or third. I think he was like fourth, fifth, or sixth as far as that's concerned. So you look at the Los Angeles Kings, the way they play, they have so many vets. They're going to be very active and aggressive in free agency. And I will tell people that are watching, if you do want to put a future out, I think you have to do it before July 1st. It's a real good time to do it. And I know it's NHL, and I know we always talk about how the NHL doesn't really get much movement in the market, but there is one day in the calendar year in the NHL that you do see movement with the futures, and it's July 1st. So if you want to bet on a team you think might make some moves on free agency day, then you got to get it in before July 1st. I like the LA Kings, and one team I will throw out as well. You're going to call me a homer here, Gabe, with this one. The Avalanche at 12-1.
Oh, I knew the Avs were going to have to be on your list. I'm surprised you didn't start with them. But no, I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit. You think outside the box, and the Kings is to go with one of the top teams here, Cam. Like I said, oh my God, what a save by the Argentinian goalie. Chile generally just scored. So as far as the Kings, I get it. You know what I mean? They're talented. They're this. I know what you mean about the age. I just don't know. They don't have the firepower. And even if they got Gensel, I don't think it's enough for them. But they're good. Cam, who's your what would be your pick right now for the Stanley Cup next year?
I like where McInnes is going. I agree with him with Colorado. I think they're a team that also, when they're watching these other teams, they understand they were almost there, and they had a lot of injuries and problems to deal with this year. I did like the Kings this year, Gabe, but their back end's just too old for me, and their goaltending is in question. So looking for a flyer team, You know what? I actually think your Canucks could be a flyer if you're looking at that team. I'm not going to say the Leafs in the East. Who do you pick? The Rangers? They're getting old. God, I don't know, man. I got to be honest with you. I like the Avalanche the best out of them all.
Cam, what team do you guys think drops off the most? Which team out of the top 5 or 6?
Let me just say, I will be the homer and say the Vancouver Canucks. I'd like a little bit more than 15, 16 to 1, depending on the book right now. But it's not really a homer pick. McKinnis brought it up. You got to learn how to lose to win. Rick Tocchet is a really good coach. That's not going away. That wasn't like a one-off. Tocchet is a really good coach. They're not old, the Canucks. They're almost like that perfect age McKinnis just talking about, right? You got a bunch of dudes in the Bessers and the Millers still that are studs. Pettersson struggled in the playoffs, but that's going to happen. It's a learning experience. They went 7 games, guys, with a team that just went 7 games in the Stanley Cup. They didn't have Brock Besser in Game 7. They didn't have Thatcher Demko throughout the playoffs. They had a rookie kid goalie between the pipes. They had a lot of injuries throughout the playoffs. This is a team going in the right direction. Like, I'll be disappointed and surprised if the Canucks don't make it to the conference finals next year at least. But the Western Conference is a gauntlet. And even though I don't like falling for this team, and everyone did last year and I didn't, I think the New Jersey Devils in the East really will be better this year. I think last year was a little bit of an anomaly. They had a ton of injuries, specifically Hughes, shore up the goaltending. Devils will be better. New coach.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, we showed the video of the wild celebration of the Panthers on the street, but all kidding aside, you know, that's what I talked about. You know, that's the thing, the best thing about winning a championship. You're able to get wasted in public and be stupid and nobody can say anything to you. Like, although JJ Redick hasn't, even won yet, and he's already being stupid in public with his press conferences, but that's another story. So there's a dude on the who was it here? It was a guy on. I want to get the name. Does it matter? Whatever. Give me. Let's go back to the best of X here. There's a guy on the Panthers last night. This is the way to drink out of the Stanley Cup. I got to tell you, this is the definition of like doing a shot. All right, so he's got the goggles on. You know, I mean, that's living it up. You win the cup. I forget who it is, but it was a dude. They said he's been on the team for a few years. It was big, like, hey, it's cool, like his moment here. So he's going off. I don't know if you guys can blow the picture up. Go back to the original shot, though. I don't know, because it doesn't work fully. There's a guy here holding the mic behind him. And everybody commented because he stands out. He's got long hair. It looks like an old metalhead standing there. And everyone had a different reaction about this guy is like mad that they're wasting so much beer. What I noticed and some other people noticed is I didn't know Dave Grohl was side gigging as a boom mic operator for ESPN in the room. This is Dave Grohl. That's what Dave Grohl's going to look like in like 15 years, man. That's Dave effing Grohl. I can't believe the dead ringer, this guy.
I agree. He looks like Robert Plant and Dave Grohl fused into each other. It's unbelievable.
Look at this guy.
Absolutely wild.
He's the boom mic guy standing behind him. He has this disgusted look. He has the same look. Like people are like, no, most of the time people would smile just so you're sort of caught up and you're like, wow, you're smiling. He just had this. He's just holding.
He wasn't amused.
No reaction. He's probably thinking, these stupid kids. I miss the old days when I was a roadie for Led Zeppelin. It was a lot better. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, what's going through this guy's mind?
You're right, Gabe. It's Dave Grohl and Robert Plant. Like, it's just honestly, like, that's like, oh
It's
my
Dave
God.
Grohl. Like this poor dude who just wants to sip. That's one thing.
Pete Blackburn.
That's just too good. This guy. So shout out to Dave Grohl for the celebration. All right, so still scoreless in the soccer game. We're in the 83rd minute. Let's get into some other football. Thursday night football. You have the Edmonton Elks. Our boy Rick Saratella from the Elks will join us a little bit later on. It's tough with Rick being a buddy of mine and working for the team because it'd be a little harder on them, I think. But I'm kind of being, But like I said, good teams win, great teams cover.
Yep.
The Elks keep covering. They lost the first game of the year. It was a toss-up pick 'em. They lost it in the last, plays or whatever. And then they've been underdogs. They keep losing by 3 points all the time, this team. They were getting 6 earlier in the week, Andrew, and I thought it was insanely stupid low. I was like, why the hell are the BC Lions only 6-point favorites? I should note, I tweeted this out, Vernon Adams hasn't practiced this week. He's got an abdominal situation. Word was he's 50-50 to play only, yet the coach said, nah, that's not really true. He's playing. And then the number sort of bumped up to 7.5 here. I don't know if you're a big CFL numbers guy, McKinnis, but the fact of the matter is BC have absolutely murdered Edmonton over the years. Like, it's bad. Like, they've gotten people fired type of stuff. They run up the score on them all the time. And I know Edmonton have been covering. I almost get the feeling that this is the game that Edmonton, the wheels kind of fall off and they get smoked. But what are your thoughts on this game?
Gabe, 31-14, 22-0, 27-0, 37-29, and 26-9. The last 5 meetings between these two teams. Pure dominance. Back-to-back.
Aren't you leaving out like a 56-4 or something one? Like, go a little bit deeper. There was a few other ones that were like bad.
46-14, 59-15, 43-10, 21. I mean, I've got it.
That's the one.
What's the more story here? They're covering points.
I told you, Cam. I was like, no, there's more than that. Go on. Like, they've beaten them badly. Like, go on more. Find the other ones.
Holy jeez.
So nuts. We got 1, 2, 3. I mean, pretty much, I think it's like 10 straight times here. Cam. The funny thing is, Gabe, you said scroll a bit more, and there was literally a button that said show more games. And then right below it, we see that number there. You asked me if I'm a CFL numbers guy. And the thing is, for doing content and giving out plays purposes, it's so difficult because one thing you love and you hate about the CFL is how fast the numbers move here, guys. But I think that now that the dust has settled, this is the number it probably should be. And we don't want to talk about the past. We'll talk about the present here. And I like this number here. I'm willing to bet on it. And again, I think for a large part of the season, the Elks plus this range of 6, 7, 7.5 is going to be a very profitable wager. But I just love this scheduling spot here. I'm not a huge quotes guy. You guys aren't going to hear me come on and read out quotes very often, but I thought this one was pretty interesting. McLeod Bethel Thompson says, "To me, it's astounding that a league with 9 teams can't figure out how to not play on a 5-day week. If this league cares anything about player safety, it shouldn't happen. Plenty of ways for us to avoid this and not play on a 5-day week."
Yeah,
so they played. This is what happened.
Go back to
Elks
the
guys
UFL if
their
you don't like
season-
it.
Yeah, exactly.
They started their season with 2 home games.
How about winning a game, Cam? Guys crying about the schedule.
I agree. Hey, the over goes, we had the over, but yeah, just settle down, buddy.
Hey, no, but good point. I'm glad you brought it up, actually, McKinnis. Tough scheduling spot. You played Saturday night in a track meet on the East Coast against the Toronto Argonauts. You go back to Edmonton, watch the Oilers lose, and now have to go to Vancouver to face a Lions team that always kills you.
And you look at how this Lions team has played at home. I mean, you want to talk about road home splits. This BC team, I'm sure you've seen it a ton of times, Gabe, in person. They're a different team at home right now. And you talk about Vernon Adams Jr., I understand, it's great to have a mobile quarterback like that. It's great to have someone that can kind of take a hit and move. But I still think they're going to cover this point spread. If you're too worried about this point spread, guys, I would say why not take the over? Because one thing about this Elks team, sure, their offense is moving the chains. They're moving up the field. They just can't get a stop when it's time, when it's crunch time. So if you don't want to play that point spread, look towards the total in this one. But I do love the spot. Maybe a first half play on the BC Lions, but I really do like them this weekend.
Argentina scores in the 87th minute. Woo! Always late. Big drama, baby. And Argentina's
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. All right, let's keep this thing rolling with the CFL. Hamilton, this is the third Sunday in a row they're going to play the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They played the back-to-back rematch with the Rough Riders. This time it got ugly. Last week, it was a wild one 2 weeks ago, whatever. Last week, Saskatchewan just absolutely murdered them. Great start to the season for the Riders. They're the ones with the bye week this week. Ticats are on the road. You got a couple interesting games here, McKinnis. Ticats on the road. Sky is falling. They're getting frustrated. There's team turmoil a little bit. You know, they kind of, I don't think they want to admit that they're kind of screwed with Bo Levi Mitchell. They're paying him like, you know, $800K or whatever, and he's done. They're in a weird spot, this team. And then they're going into Ottawa. I don't know. Ottawa looked good in week one. Then they got murdered by the Alouettes. So this is only their third game of the year. The Bombers still looking for their first win. I don't think Calgary are as bad as people are going to make them out to be, and they've been kind of scrappy. They were good in week one, Calgary, and I saw them against the BC Lions live, and they were pretty good too. Their defense was competitive. You know, their offense hits the wall. They're lacking a little bit of skill, but they're not terrible, this team. I'm not really in love with the Bombers at 3.5, and you got a great game on Friday night, guys. The Alouettes are laying 3 on the road against the Argos. Argos are 2-0 on the season, yet I think the Alouettes are going to beat them personally. That the Alouette streak continues. What do you like in these other games, Andrew?
Lots to like. I'll start with the Montreal game you just talked about there. I do lean towards the home team, but I think the best bet in that one is the under.
The Argos. You're leading with the Argos. Wow.
Yeah, they're getting points there, +3. Look, Montreal is great.
For someone that's a Montreal Canadian fan, you're a real Alouette hater. I don't understand you.
Hey, you know what? I was a huge.
I don't get it. Like,
Calvillo was my guy.
Starting to upset me a little bit.
Calvillo was my guy growing up. As a kid, he was my guy.
Cody Fajardo's the guy. All right.
Yeah, Cody Fajardo's on fire, man. He's great.
You know what? Cody Fajardo is like it's like Carey Price being the goaltender, and you got a good player that's playing okay, and you're saying this guy's the guy. When your defense gets you 4 turnovers a game, Cam Stewart could be a great quarterback.
No. Fajardo's throwing for like 300 yards a game. He's not throwing bombs. He's throwing bombs to Philpott.
Amazing. His numbers are amazing.
Guys, if I had the defense he'd have, I'd throw bombs too.
No,
but he must feel so relaxed in the pocket.
We love you, but look at the numbers. You guys are like the guy's lighting it up, bro. He's not throwing picks. The defense is helping him. I know. But he's on fire. Be nice to Fajardo. I'm with you, Morency. I like the Owls over the Argos. The Argos barely they had problems with Edmonton. I think they might they might slap around Toronto, Montreal by a touchdown.
What about the other games, McKinnis?
Cameron Dukes barely drops a pass. I'm going to go under, though. Official pick, I'm going to go under in that game, guys. So I do love Montreal's defense, and I think Toronto loves the dink and dunk and running the ball. So I'll go under in that game. Winnipeg and Calgary, I'm going to take the road favorite here, -3. To me, this is people keep on overreacting. Oh, they're not going to go 0-2. They're not going to go 0-3. To me, this is about as big of a discount as you're going to get, because if these two teams played in week one, I'll tell you what, guys, we wouldn't be getting -3 on the highway with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It'd probably be double that if they had a decent start to the season. I'm very low on this Stampeders team. I don't like their defense. I want to see what Jake Mayer looks like when he's down a touchdown, when he's actually facing some adversity, because when the BC Lions started to get momentum, I don't think that the Calgary Stampeders could compete with that. I would look towards the over in that one. It's for my lean in the total, but I do like the Bombers, one of my favorite plays this week, -3. And Hamilton, Ottawa, we saw that one -2.5. Somebody, we don't know who it is, likes Hamilton, because we're now seeing a pick at some spots for this game. And I'm going to side with the Red Blacks, because you guys are going to laugh at me saying this, but I think they played okay. I actually respect how they played against Montreal. I don't think it was as bad as it appears to have been. I think Drew Brown's actually serviceable. I'm not someone that's going to think that Drew Brown had a real rough second game. He beats Winnipeg. I understand Winnipeg's hadn't had a win yet, so how impressive is that? He looks confident. They've got weapons. If they can get a few stops, and hey, everyone's putting up points against Hamilton right now. Take a look at their points: 33, 36, and 32. Anybody's scoring points right now on Hamilton. So I think if Ottawa and Drew Brown get going, and they're not going to be happy, guys. Think about it. You're coming off an absolute beating against Montreal. You go back at home and you're a pick 'em price against the team giving up 30 points every week. I like Ottawa quite a bit.
Is this favorites week, guys? Looks like a lot of favorites.
I like the angle in that sense that a lot of people are going to look at Ottawa, McKinnis, and think, oh, they got lit up last week. They're not very good. They're a new team. They have a lot of new parts. They're coming together. And sometimes you need a beating, right? They beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They thought they're a little bit better than they were. The Alouettes said, no, you guys aren't. Back to the drawing board. I think they're going to be ready to play this week.